We've all heard about Russia, a truly enormous country, brimming with a rich history and immense power, and let's not forget, an abundance of beautiful women, haven't we? However, were you aware that there's a dark side concealed within this vast nation? Let's embark on this journey together to gain a better understanding of how this giant of Eastern Europe and North Asia came to be what it is today. Let's take a trip back in time, more precisely to the beginning of the 1600s. It was at this point in history that the Romanov dynasty first began to govern Russia, and they remained in power for over 300 years. Just imagine, the same family ruling for so long. However, everything changed at the dawn of the 20th century when Lenin and the Bolsheviks seized control, effectively putting an end to the Romanov dynasty. And that's where the story of the Soviet Union begins, led by Lenin until his death in 1924. After Lenin, Stalin assumed control, and Russia entered a new era, defined by its participation in World War II, where it allied with the Allied forces to combat the Nazis. Following the war, a significant period known as the Cold War commenced, during which Russia and the United States vied for global leadership. It was only in 1985, with the advent of Mikhail Gorbachev, that profound and meaningful changes truly began to take effect. Gorbachev implemented political and economic reforms, and in 1990, he was elected president, putting an end to the Cold War. However, the Soviet Union did not endure for much more time. In 1991, following an unsuccessful communist coup, Gorbachev stepped down, and the Soviet Union subsequently dissolved, leading to the emergence of the modern Russia that we are familiar with today. Russia is known for being one of the world's largest economies, with an impressive GDP. But not everything is as beautiful as it seems. From 2012 to 2022, the Russian economy grew by an average of 1.12% per year, which is considered stable growth. In 2022, Russia's GDP, which is the fifth largest globally, amounted to approximately $3.995 trillion. However, this economic growth is not equitably distributed among the general population. Many people still live in poverty, and corruption is a serious problem in the country. On the Corruption Perception Index, Russia scored 72 out of 100 points, indicating a very high level of corruption. This signifies that a substantial portion of the nation's prosperity concentrates with a select few, denying the majority of citizens the advantages stemming from economic development. This inequality is one of the biggest challenges Russia faces today. However, even with these challenges, Russia continues to stand as a superpower, maintaining a very significant global presence. And there is much more to discover about this fascinating country. Corruption in Russia has deep roots, dating back to the time of the Tsars. Since then, it has only intensified, passing through the communist period and continuing to this day. During Stalin's reign, for example, in 1948, 7 members of the Supreme Court of the Soviet Union were suspended for accepting bribes. The situation hasn't gotten any better over time. During the 2000s, government corruption ended up costing the citizens of Russia almost $3 billion. And it didn't stop there. A recent survey indicated that corruption within the business sector cost the Russian people as much as $33.8 billion. A truly shocking example is the instance of a police anti-corruption department chief who was discovered with 87 million pounds sterling in liquid assets. Corruption became so entrenched that it is difficult to combat because many of those involved have powerful connections in both the government and business sectors. Have you ever heard of the Russian Mafia? These criminal groups are well known for their illicit activities and their significant presence in popular culture. The Russian Mafia, also known as the Vori, originated in Stalin's gulags, the communist prison camps. Following the dissolution of the Soviet Union, the Russian Mafia integrated with the country's new elite, giving rise to a new generation of entrepreneurial gangsters. These individuals engaged in a wide array of illicit endeavors, ranging from financial fraud and money laundering to sophisticated computer hacking operations. What's even more terrifying is that quite frequently, these criminals are operating directly alongside the government. To fully grasp the extensive reach and intricate nature of the Russian mafia's influence, let's examine a true and compelling incident. Shengelia Badrianzorovich, a courageous businessman, became a central figure in a bribery investigation involving the Russian mafia in 2015. In 2015, Shengelia decided to cooperate with the authorities and testify against powerful members of the Russian mafia. He provided essential information regarding a $500,000 bribe that had been paid to high-ranking police officials in the city of Moscow. This bribe was actually part of a much larger scheme, where powerful leaders of organized crime were actively purchasing protection and various favors from within the police force itself. Thanks to Shengelia's testimony, one of the main police chiefs was sentenced to 13 years in prison. However, this victory against corruption and organized crime came at a high cost. In 2018, just 3 years after his testimony, Shengelia was found lifeless in his car, a Mercedes, in St. Petersburg. His tragic death underscored the grave risks encountered by those who dare to defy the Russian mafia. This incident illustrates how the Russian mafia operates with a combination of political influence and intimidation. They not only control illicit activities, but also maintain a significant presence within legitimate sectors of the economy. Often these groups collaborate with corrupt officials, which makes the battle against organized crime significantly more difficult. In Russia, the lives of women, especially the most beautiful, can be marked by exploitation and inequality. In some parts of the country, they are treated like commodities, and an extreme case that illustrates this reality is that of Peter Listerman. Peter Listerman is a Russian man known for being a matchmaker and for his VIP escort agency, which hires Russian and Ukrainian models. He gained significant notoriety due to his powerful connections, notably including the infamous Jeffrey Epstein. Listerman gained notoriety for selling young models to wealthy oligarchs, and even more so for a shocking declaration in which he claimed to have sold his own wife for $1 million. This exploitation is not limited to extreme cases like Listerman's. In Russia, a pervasive culture of objectification and gender inequality profoundly impacts many women's lives. Young, aspiring models frequently find themselves targeted by influential individuals who exploit their vulnerability. The promises of a glamorous life and career opportunities often lead to situations of abuse and exploitation. The modeling industry in Russia is particularly complex and fraught with issues. Many young women, attracted by the prospect of fame and success, end up entangled in exploitation networks. These networks are frequently managed by individuals possessing powerful connections, extending across both the private sector and the government, thereby rendering escape extremely challenging for these women. Furthermore, the country's economic and social inequality exacerbates this situation. The vast gap in wealth between the affluent elite and the broader populace fosters an environment where exploitation is more prone to occur. Women from less fortunate backgrounds or socioeconomic statuses might find themselves compelled to agree to dubious proposals, believing it will better their financial standing. The story of Peter Listerman is but one example of how pervasive corruption and inequality impact the lives of everyday individuals in Russia. This is a reflection of a much larger issue that needs to be addressed urgently to safeguard the rights and dignity of women. Despite significant economic and social challenges, Russia boasts a rich and immense cultural heritage, with traditions spanning from classical music and ballet to renowned literature and cinema. In Russia, people place great value on family and community. Traditional holidays such as Orthodox Christmas and New Year's are observed and celebrated with immense enthusiasm by the people. But at the same time, the impact of corruption and organized crime can be felt in daily life. For instance, a recent controversy involved Russian police officers modifying their uniforms in ways that were not regulated. This situation originated when a number of Russian police officers, both men and women, began altering their official uniforms without authorization. The male officers often cut the sleeves of their shirts, aiming for increased comfort or a more fashionable appearance. Meanwhile, the female officers would shorten their uniform skirts, possibly to achieve a more contemporary or appealing style. These modifications, however, did not comply with the regulations of the Ministry of the Interior. Russia's Ministry of the Interior, which is responsible for overseeing the police force, decided to intervene in 2023. The ministry established a more stringent standard for official uniforms, mandating that all officers uphold a professional and regulation-compliant appearance at all times. This encompassed strict rules against altering uniforms, in addition to mandates that they be kept impeccably clean and properly fitted at all times. This action was implemented not merely to uphold discipline and uniformity, but also to guarantee that law enforcement officers projected an image of gravitas and esteem. So, what did you think of this dive into Russian history? Don't forget to leave a like, share with your friends, and subscribe to the channel for more intriguing content. Therefore, please comment Russia, so I'm aware you followed along this far. In the comments below, share with us which aspect of Russia you found most fascinating. Your opinion is truly important to us. Thank you for accompanying us. Stay tuned for even more captivating and eye-opening narratives.
Let's stick to the European context. I actually had an experience visiting an adult house 3 different times. Basically, these houses, they brought in women from Russia. The scene here, guys, is good. Really, really good. And what happens is they're just dancing there, all casual-like, but they look alike, you know? Yeah, they're almost all blonde with that look you're probably imagining. Sometimes in 10 minutes, a woman can make 300-400 reads.
Many people are searching for success in life. In the past, a few generations ago, people aspired to study and build careers. Some wanted to be doctors, lawyers, and so on. People who pursued these occupations earned considerable respect and often fulfilled their aspirations through appealing salaries. With technological advancements and the rise of new professions, circumstances have shifted. It appears that people are less concerned with pursuing traditional careers or gaining respect through labor. Instead, they started looking for easier ways to make money, the financial pressure in a constantly changing world. It seems that more and more, what matters isn't so much what we do, but how much money we make, right? This pursuit of shortcuts to financial gain often presents considerable challenges for both men and women. Women in particular frequently experience pressure from their adolescent years to attain a specific measure of financial comfort. How then does this unfold? Well, it's a process that quite often begins with something nearly everyone possesses, a smartphone device. From a young age, women are exposed to the seemingly luxurious lifestyles of their peers on social media platforms. They see photos of incredible trips, expensive clothes, and start wanting that same life for themselves. This pressure can become even more intense, especially in regions where securing well-compensated employment is challenging and families face financial hardship. So, what is the consequence? Often, these women find themselves caught in financial traps, seeking quick routes to attain that kind of lifestyle without fully acknowledging the potential consequences. It is essential to comprehend these pressures and discover healthy methods for managing them instead of being swayed by hazardous financial decisions. Currently, some women, despite having a financial situation that's a bit below average, yet being physically attractive, often take significant risks and embark on various endeavors attempting to earn money more effortlessly. For instance, they begin to dream expansively, applying to numerous modeling agencies in their home countries with the ambition of ultimately moving to Europe and the United States. If their families consent, some women seek opportunities in establishments that provide modeling or dancing engagements. Some women successfully achieve their dreams and secure offers from renowned clothing and cosmetic brands, effectively becoming the face of numerous campaigns across various platforms, including social media. However, not all of them are that lucky, and they often face unexpected events. Russia, a colossal nation, boasts a population of 150 million people and spans an immense territorial area. It is recognized as one of the world's most significant nations, boasting numerous autonomous regions and a rich tapestry of ethnic diversity. However, the daily living conditions in Russia are often challenging, and its citizens frequently face political events that detrimentally impact their lives. All too often, such difficult circumstances push individuals to pursue opportunities within fields like modeling agencies. Applications to these modeling agencies are typically submitted online, attracting individuals from various parts of Russia, all with specific criteria for their studies. However, not everyone gets selected, even if they fulfill the requirements. Some of the prerequisites include being under 25 years of age and possessing a height exceeding 160 centimeters. The government frequently questions the authenticity of these agencies as they conduct their operations in an official and professional manner. However, the credibility of these agencies isn't always clear, and many individuals might face challenging circumstances when attempting to pursue this career path. Women are invited to the studio after a preliminary registration, with no idea of what to expect. In an instant, they are all lined up, each one of them dreaming of migrating to the West. Their ages and body measurements are meticulously recorded on the papers they are holding. Participation in these agencies is widespread within Russian society, where the family structure often permits this pursuit, even without knowing their authenticity. After some time, a man arrives and starts to evaluate each model individually, potentially molding their future destinies. While the educational system in Russia is quite adequate, the real problem is the income level. Imagine studying to become a doctor in Russia, where the profession pays an average of $1,000. That amount isn't nearly enough to guarantee happiness, especially when considering that many professions require significant mental exertion, which prematurely ages individuals. However, a Russian girl often has a significant advantage over peers from other nations, as they are frequently beautiful and in excellent physical condition. That is precisely why brands prefer models from Russia. This is the most significant factor contributing to the proliferation of these fraudulent agencies. The limited purchasing power impels Russian girls into careers where physical appearance is prioritized over intellectual knowledge. For example, Anna, an 18-year-old girl who lives in a small village in Siberia, tragically lost both her father and brother in a car accident when she was just a child. Her family faced financial hardships and was compelled to relocate to a Siberian village, where they now reside in an outdated apartment. Anna's dream was to become a painter, yet she realized earning a livelihood through that profession in Russia would be impossible. So she decides to look for opportunities as a model, even without knowing what will happen. Her mother perceives this as Anna's sole hope for a better life. While modeling can be a highly lucrative profession, there's always a catch involved. Modeling agencies can make many promises, but the reality of what transpires often differs significantly. For example, individuals are summoned to modeling agencies with the allure of career opportunities, only to find themselves photographed from various angles, including highly intimate images. These pictures can fall into the agency's hands, frequently without the individual's permission, and are then exploited in unsanctioned manners. This constitutes the inherent peril of this particular industry. These agencies demand between $500 and $1,000 during the application process. Many individuals, placing their trust in the apparent legitimacy of these agencies and the enticing promise of future prospects, readily pay these fees and furnish numerous photographs of themselves. These fraudulent agencies then proceed to sell the phone numbers of the girls to affluent individuals. They also function as go-betweens, presenting employment opportunities that may be either national or international in scope. Nevertheless, lurking behind these seemingly legitimate proposals are criminal factions actively orchestrating schemes to exploit impressionable young women. These criminals don't directly intimidate the girls. Instead, they present opportunities that appear legitimate but, in reality, conceal dark motives and intentions. Affluent men, hailing from Russia and other countries such as the UK and the US, are wed to these young women, frequently facilitated by these deceptive agencies. At this point, the agencies do their utmost to convince and facilitate the connection between these young Russian women and rich men, exploiting the former's vulnerability in their search for a better life. Unfortunately, this tactic often succeeds. If you've ever wondered how affluent Americans manage to find and marry individuals who are 2 decades their junior, this elucidates the intricate workings of such manipulative mind games. This may seem like the best thing that could happen to these Russian girls, being in the hands of these agencies. However, there is something even worse in another scenario. Some young women are given direct job offers that promise significantly more money than they could possibly earn as models. The companies work hard to convince them, but in reality, they are deceiving these young women. If these girls are successful, they are taken from Russia to places such as Peru, Dubai, or Saudi Arabia, where they are employed as body workers, which is a euphemistic term. Over time, these young women come to realize they cannot get wealthy in these locations, yet they struggle to free themselves from those who deceive them. This marks a decisive turning point in the lives of these young women, taking away their control. There are other similar cases occurring globally at this moment. We will cover those in the next video. While I'm preparing the next segment about this shady market, which also exists in Japan, please check out the video currently displayed on your screen. Thanks everyone, and catch you later.